Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Camila Williams. Thank you for joining us. More than 100,000 Arizonans will be purged from the vote by mail list after SB 1485 passed and Governor Ducey signed it into law. This makes Arizona the latest Republican-controlled state in the crosshairs of voting rights advocates. Republicans said that the measures will save money and further trust in elections at a time when a substantial sharing of GOP-based distrust Donald Trump's 2020 loss, while critics said the bill will make it harder for people to vote, with an especially strong effect on new or infrequent voters, especially people of color and those living in poverty. State and federal public land management agencies in Arizona are beginning to impose fire restrictions due to hot and dry weather conditions across the state and increase in fire starts caused by people. The Apache Sitgreaves National Forest in eastern Arizona announced campfire and smoking restrictions are now in effect. The same region, the State Department of Forestry and Fire Management announced it's prohibiting campfires and implementing other so-called Stage 1 restrictions on land owned and managed by the state in Apache and Navajo counties. Anyone who is displaced or needs assistance can call 1-800-842-7349. The Arizona Department of Transportation is rolling out a new digital ID. The new electronic driver's license might raise some questions, so reporter Nick Shesky sat down with the Arizona Department of Transportation to get some answers.
Several U.S. states like Maryland and Colorado have rolled out digital driver's licenses. Arizona is now the newest state to release a digital ID for its drivers.
It's kind of the natural evolution of the driver's license becoming your identification credential. And everything else in this world is moving to digital and electronically. So is our license. You know, it's bank accounts, credit cards, house keys, car keys, things like that.
The mobile ID is just as it sounds, your ID on your cell phone. And the hope is that one day the mobile ID can be a frictionless option for everything that you use your regular ID for.
To get their digital driver's license, all Arizona drivers need to do is download the Arizona Mobile ID app, register their phone number,
upload a photo of their driver's license, and upload a moving selfie into the app for security purposes.
Now, the mobile ID may seem brand new, but Pacey explains that this is a project that's been in the works for a couple of years now.
We've been talking to the stakeholders for years about this. Those conversations have really ramped up in the past, probably about the last 6 months, because mobile ID, it's finally here. So people are aware of it. People know that it's out there, but maybe not every person.
Because maybe not everyone is aware of this new technology, Pacey and ADOT urge drivers to still carry around their regular plastic IDs, just in case.
You want to avoid any kind of situations that might be frustrating. If you only have your mobile ID and you go to a store and they say, I've never seen this before, I don't know about it, you still want to be able to make your purchase and move on.
Hopefully only for the time being will drivers need to carry both their plastic and their digital IDs. In Phoenix, Nick Shesky, Cronkite News.
If you are interested in learning even more about the new Arizona Mobile ID, you can head to mobileid.az.gov. The Arizona health officials announced the 7 state-run COVID-19 vaccination sites are poised to begin offering shots to children ages 12 to 15 starting tomorrow. The Department of Health Services made its announcement a day after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave emergency use authorizations for the administration of Pfizer vaccine to ages 12 to 15 age group. Arizona has state-run vaccination sites in Metro Phoenix, Tucson, Yuma, and Flagstaff. Today is an exciting day in the sports world, with the Phoenix Suns continuing to push their way through the NBA playoffs, and the Cardinals will learn their opponents for the 2021 season. The Suns take on the Trailblazers tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in downtown Phoenix to hopefully make it one step closer to the finals. The Cardinals will also learn their 2021 schedule any minute now, as the final 2021 schedule is released, with each team playing 17 regular season games for the first time ever. And now, a look back at some of our top stories from our sports team, from how one basketball star stays mentally tough to how runners are taking part in group events, even during the pandemic.
Speaking out on social issues is just one way sports teams are connecting with their community. Cronkite News reporter Zach Moore got a chance to hear how local teams are standing in solidarity with Phoenix's Asian American and Pacific Islander community.
We are coming together to be in community, to work on our healing.
Hundreds of people marched in Mesa to protest recent attacks against the Asian American community. Many have been afraid to speak out, but the vigil signaled a cry for change, a change that is long overdue.
It saddens me that we're having this conversation, truthfully. And you just wonder what's next, and you hope that there's no next. You hope that it stops.
Steve Yang is the president of the Asian Coaches Association and is finding solidarity in the sports world. Coaches and players alike are starting to give voice to victims of these hateful attacks.
We already know what the battle is all about. Why are we still letting that happen? So we should do better.
Professional sports teams across the country have been showing their support of the Asian American community on social media. The Coyotes were one of many to make no haste of standing alongside their community.
And I think it's a statement not just in support of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders community, but it's also in a rejection of bigotry and of racism and of intolerance.
According to a recent Stop Hate report, verbal harassment is the most reported issue that Asian Americans face today, with physical assault ranking third. For one student athlete at ASU, the statistics are startling.
I just feel sad for America to see or divide these countries,
Back in Mesa, it was a coming together, a march toward change.
No justice, no peace.
Zach Moore, Cronkite News.
Life as a walk-on can be tough. Arizona State men's basketball sophomore John Olmsted chose that path, and it gave him the chance to represent Arizona and put his hometown of Morenci on the map. Cronkite News reporter Mason Kern takes us to the eastern Arizona copper mining town and details Olmsted's journey to Tempe.
In a forgettable year for ASU men's basketball, John Olmsted focused on maximizing his opportunities.
Obviously, just to be able to score like that as my first points, it's very exciting. I told myself before the game, just kind of whenever I got the ball down there, just go up and dunk everything.
Olmsted's debut bucket was validating and is representative of his journey to Tempe. Grinding in silence with little expectations, he received a tangible reward, a posterizing dunk fit for home decor.
I told him afterwards, I said that you kind of set the bar pretty high for your first college points to start with that. I've had several people tell me the same thing. Yeah, you ought to make a poster out of that.
Growing up in Morenci, Arizona, separated by stints living in Chile, the thought of playing college basketball wasn't top of Olmsted's mind. But a stellar prep career in a small town led schools to finding him.
I had other opportunities, obviously, but what really kind of hooked me to here was love to me all the time. It was just the love, and then also just being able to play for Bobby Hurley. I mean, he's one of the greatest players in the history of the game.
The majority of Olmsted's childhood was spent in Morenci, Arizona. With a population right around 1,500, the eastern Arizona city is home to the largest copper mine in North America.
I got used to small town life. There's a lot less people. You kind of know everybody. It's more of a connected community.
Olmsted's father, Josh, was educated as a mining engineer and began his career in Morenci. The industry took the Olmsted family international and back, but the small Arizona town will always be home.
Morenci, it's a neat little town in the sense that it's pretty small, like you said, but at the same time, everybody knows everybody, which makes it kind of nice because you can create some really good, close friendships with people.
And now Olmsted is forging friendships in Tempe, getting buckets, and repping his hometown at the Power 5 level.
It feels good just being able to represent Arizona, and especially a small town in Arizona.
Thank you for stopping to observe the Morenci mine.
In Morenci, Mason Kern, Cronkite News.
The pandemic has caused a halt in the running community. But with new capacity rules, companies like Aria Vipa Running has found a way to hold in-person events. Cronkite News reporter Autumn Thompson hit the trail to find out what the demand is really like.
3, 2, 1, go!
2020 changed the way trail runners attend events. Since the pandemic hit, these runners have been attending events virtually. but it decreases the social aspect behind the experience.
You develop camaraderie, you talk, you enjoy yourself, you make friends during the event, you make friends before it and after.
Now, run clubs are slowly returning to in-person events. Capacity rules set by the CDC limit the number of participants, but trail runners are thrilled to be back on the path.
We had people very spread out, and just over time, I think people are getting a bit more comfortable and seeing how, being outdoors and spread out is, it can be done safely.
Limited capacity, however, creates a huge demand in registering for these events. Many runners have been put on a waiting list trying to find races across the western states.
I went to register and I'm 22nd on the wait list. Went to register for what they call the Silver Rush 50 mile in Leadville, Colorado in July, and I'm 67th on the wait list.
On the flip side, this demand has helped lift the financial worries that the pandemic has caused for many of these small businesses like Air Viper Running.
It's definitely helped me as a business owner have relax a little bit more and kind of a sigh of relief that things are returning a little bit to normal.
Air Viper hopes that sense of normalcy continues as in-person racing grows to full capacity and all runners can step on the trails once again. In White Tank Mountain Regional Park, Autumn Thompson, Cronkite News.
And there's a new indoor football team in northern Arizona that is looking to win a championship in their first season. Cronkite News reporter Dawson Turner tells us what the NAZ Wranglers have planned for this upcoming season.
The NAZ Wranglers are the third team from Arizona to be added into the Indoor Football League. Although it is their first season, their game plan is to come out strong, setting their eyes on a championship with veteran leadership of head coach Dominic Bramante.
Myself and Matt started the Duke City Gladiators 6 years ago, and we've been blessed. We never had a losing season. And the last 2 years, we won the championship in the CIF.
Since Tucson and Phoenix already have teams, the Wranglers were looking for their perfect home. The team found that in Prescott.
It made sense, I think, from an economic standpoint to put a team in this market. You've got a great building here in Prescott Valley.
My first 3 trips there, including this one, we got out in the community and tried to get a flavor. And the reason being is we want to develop a team that represents and honors the community of the Valley.
The Wranglers also added local kicking talent in Brandon Fisher, who played soccer for Yavapai Community College.
I saw an advertisement on Facebook about the NAZ Wranglers, and then I found out a little bit more about tryouts and decided to just give it a shot and thought, why not?
He is a local young man that kicks the football very well.
He's got a strong leg. I was impressed. I seen him kick. I seen him, kick for accuracy, for extra points and field goals, and then, strategically kick kickoffs.
With local talent and the community on their side, the NAZ Wranglers are aiming for that IFL championship title. Dawson Turner, Cronkite News.
A star on the soccer field, Gavin Kohner is Northwest Christian's second leading scorer, but it hasn't been easy. Cronkite News reporter Madden Johnstone Thomas shares how setbacks aren't stopping the future Tiger.
Gavin Kohner's love for soccer started at a young age while playing with his friends at recess. Coming up through recreational leagues and club teams, he's had a dream of playing in college. However, his journey hasn't always been easy.
And then the more we watched him and start seeing him try and crawl using one arm, we immediately took him to a neurologist, and they did a brain scan, and you could see a little bit of damage on the left side of his brain, that's the side that controls your right side.
Kohner was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, which is a disorder of movements, muscles, or posture. Now a senior at Northwest Christian High School, he hasn't let this restrict him.
I mean, it's been hard at some points because you got to adapt with it. Nothing you can get rid of, so you got to learn how to live with it. It's been hard at sometimes, but over the years you can learn to accept it.
At 15, Kohner joined the U.S. Paralympic soccer team, where he first heard about a similar team at Clemson University.
So ever since then, which was probably about 8th grade, is when I had my eyes set on Clemson.
This fall, he'll put on a Clemson uniform after he received an academic and athletic scholarship to play for Clemson's Paralympic soccer team.
I didn't even honestly know what to expect. When I first applied, it was just surreal. No words, honestly.
First, probably more happy, proud, right? And then all of a sudden you see he has to report like June 24th, and then that's the gut sink that, ooh, that's a couple months.
His determination and drive has made an impact on everyone around him.
It's helped us almost as much as it's helped him, you know, in terms of seeing how somebody can fight through something and live with something and still be determined and reach goals. I mean, it's been inspiring.
Kohner looks forward to where his soccer career will go from here. In Phoenix, Madden Johnstone Thomas, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Break It Down. That's next. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.